Hi everybody, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small, and today we're going to be unboxing and taking a look at the Space Marine Primaris Repulsor Executioner. So this model's been out for a little while. It came out before the Space Marine Codex that was released last week. And it was kind of a teaser to the new Codex and one of the first new units that came out. It's obviously a modification of the standard Repulsor. This kit runs $100 US. Yes, I said $100 US. Very pricey. Of course, you can find it online for $85 if you're lucky. Now, flipping it over, we can see some nice beauty shots of the tank, and it talks a little bit about some of the features it has. You can take a heavy laser destroyer or a macro plasma incinerator in the turret as the main gun. You can put a crew member in. Just some nice pictures of paint. So pretty much your standard thing. So that is the box for the Primaris Repulsor Executioner. Alright, we took the wrap off. Let's go ahead and open this guy up. It's got a sleeve in here with the nice instruction manual. Sorry, I nudged the camera. Take a look at that in a moment. We've got the kind of the riser to float the tank, and then we've got 3 sprues of plastic. We'll take a closer look at that in a moment. Then you've got the base and a set of Ultramarine vehicle decals. So we'll go ahead and put this aside for a moment and let's take a look at these sprues. So we'll start with these 2 sprues, because these 2 sprues are your base Repulsor sprues. So if you've built a Repulsor before, these sprues are identical. So basically this kit, the Repulsor Executioner, adds a sprue which puts a different turret on the tank than your traditional Repulsor. So these frames are the same. We'll go in and look at some detail on them. I've built 2 Repulsors already, so I'm very familiar with the kit. You can see that detail. All the anti-grav plates, stowage, sides of the hull. This is the bottom, and those 4 indents are where the clear plastic base goes. So that's the inside of your tank there. Very cool. And on this sprue, you've got the top of the tank. Now on the normal Repulsor, these hold storm bolters, but in the Repulsor Executioner, these get filled in. There's actually a top piece that slaps on top that fills those holes in as the storm bolter turrets get moved to the big turret on top. So here, backside. Door. Alright. And then last but not least, we have, this is the Executioner specific frame that adds all the doodads. So you get this top, which basically sits on top of the hull. It's got a ring for the turret, and you see how these go out. Those fill up the cover these. Then we've got the turret itself. You've got storm bolter turrets here, and obviously a place for the main guns up front. You can see all the nice, lovely detail. The onslaught cannon, stowage, auto launchers. There is the tank commander. Very cool. All right, so those are the 3 sprues that make up your Repulsor Executioner. Next up, we have a quick look at the instruction manual. They've really done a great job on their instructions over the years. They've really gotten better, almost like a Lego instruction book at this point. But yeah, very straightforward in what you need to do, what you need to build, in what order, whether you need to glue it or not. Very cool stuff. There are a lot of pieces to this, and I will say that I built most of the tank except for these kind of anti-grav repulsor plates. These I painted separately, and once everything was done I slapped them on, just because it's easier to get to the tank and to get to both sides of these plates. You can kind of see how that top piece goes in and fills those gaps. You can push fit this, so you could swap out the big gun with the plasma. But at this point, I don't know why you would ever want to go plasma over this gun. This gun's pretty awesome. But maybe in future editions or updates, that plasma gun might be better. And then you've got the options for the turret. You know, do you have the commander sticking out? Is it closed? The commander could have his hands on the guns like he's aiming it, or waving around like he's giving orders. And putting it all together, you've got the stats, which are different in the Space Marine rulebook. I mean, the new Space Marine Codex. I think that some of the stats are different. If nothing else, I do know the Icarus rocket pod went from damage 1 to damage 2. There's probably more, but that's the one I can remember off the top of my head. And then I know the price went up, I believe. I don't know if this is the updated price or not, but all of the repulsor hulls went up about 30 points from what they used to be. And then on the back you have a cool painting guide where the decals go. I decal mine a little bit differently, but this is a great way to do it. I collect Ultramarine, so I feel spoiled that it's always my chapter on the rule book. Through the miracle of editing, we have a Repulsor Executioner built here. So this isn't quite 100% painted all the way, but it's close enough. I wanted to get it ready for a game this weekend. I don't like filming these vehicle unboxings or unit unboxings and giving you my opinion until I've played with it at least a couple of times. So I put it together so I could play with it. And I hate playing with unpainted models, so we slapped some paint on this bad boy. So here you go. One thing that I did with my repulsors is I don't particularly care for the round base on the bottom. And since this is a flyer, you measure everything from the hull anyway. So I just glued the base down here, but it's not on the circular base. And obviously nothing is, I haven't glued anything down yet, the guy or the turret or anything like that. So overall you can kind of see the tank. I play 4th Company, which is the green accent to the armor. So I thought I'd do those doors with the green stripe. I liked how the box art had a stripe. And then since this is a heavy support, I put the heavy support decals there. Again, no weathering. I haven't done all the highlighting yet on it, but still turns out pretty good. It's a monster gun. And there you go. You've got these storm bolters, which have some pivoting ability. Of course, that does nothing in the game currently, but you can see that. So it's just covered in weapons, just like the regular repulsor. So to compare it to a regular repulsor, I just happen to have one right here. And again, really, the hulls are the same. That's kind of a misleading view. The hull's exactly the same. And here you can really see the size different on the turrets. Right. So we can easily see that size difference. This turret is just massive. I'm going to take this turret off and compare that turret to, this turret. That's the same onslaught gun right here as there, the main gun there. Now I do think when it boils down to it, the regular repulsor has more options, and this executioner really, the main option is what main gun do you go with, and everything else is kind of set. Whereas the regular repulsor, you could have heavy bolters here or las cannons, you could have a las talon or a heavy onslaught, you could put a stubber or an onslaught cannon, so you have more options. I think these could be frag storm launchers or storm bolters. Not quite as many options on the executioner, but really the executioner is meant to, well, execute your enemies. It's an anti-tank vehicle, and it doesn't give you a lot of expensive upgrades because it's already an expensive tank, over 300 points. Alright, last but not least, just to talk a little bit about this guy in game. As configured right here in front of you, this tank cost, I think, 336 points, at least according to Battlescribe, so I'm assuming that's right. Which is a lot for a tank. That's a lot. That's a lot of points you're putting into a 16 wound, 3-up save with no invuln vehicle. So you're really hoping that this guy can earn his points back quickly, because he's going to be the target of a lot of firepower, I'm sure. Now, do you take multiples of them? I bought 2, so we'll see how that works. But the primary gun is either, again, a plasma or this guy, which is the heavy laser destroyer, which is basically a better las cannon. It's like strength 10, -4, d6 damage, but the minimum amount of damage you can do is 3, so it's going to be 3 or higher. It's heavy 2, but if you move half distance, you can fire it twice, so in essence it becomes heavy 4. And then if it's a tactical doctrine is on, this could move full speed and still fire that twice, which is nice. So you've got that. That's the primary weapon. It's like almost like the 4 las cannons on a Land Raider, but even better. Then you have a heavy onslaught cannon, heavy bolters in the hull. You've got frag storm launchers, auto launchers, storm bolter. On this side you've got that's an Icarus rocket pod, iron hail, heavy stubber, another heavy stubber on the roof. So you really got a lot of good firepower out of this thing. It can also carry up to 6 infantry, so it's less carrying capacity than the regular repulsor, but it's got a lot more firepower, a lot more heavy firepower. So there you go. I mean, that's a look at it. I've played him now in a couple of battles and have enjoyed it. He did well in both battles and wasn't destroyed. One of them was primarily an infantry army, Genestealer cult, so this gun was kind of overkill on everything. But I liked it, and I like the way it looks. I know some people have a problem with the way that Primaris vehicles look. I think it looks really cool. I like the big turret. I am very happy with my purchase. So there you go, guys. That is the Space Marine Repulsor Executioner. Please let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you think aesthetically it looks cool? On the table, how is it performing for you guys? For me, I like it. I'm glad I have it in the arsenal. I'm looking forward to building a second one, so just one can't get shot off the table, and I have no recourse. As always, please check us out at Facebook at All Miniatures Great and Small. You can also like and subscribe here on YouTube. We always appreciate that. Click the bell so you get a notification whenever we put up a new video. As always, we appreciate you watching, and keep on wargaming.